Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you reasons why I think you shouldn't pay for grad school. Yes, don't pay for grad school. And I'll also be sharing with you a list of 500 fully funded master's, MBA, PhD programs. So make sure you keep watching this video till the end. So today's video is all about sharing why I think you shouldn't pay out of pocket for grad school. And I know like a lot of the things that I will say in today's video you guys may not agree with, but I'm like super interested in knowing like what your opinions are. These are my opinions. Let me know in the comment section what you think for some of the points that I make, those you agree with, those you don't agree with. Like, let's have a whole conversation. It's important that we keep learning. But these are my thoughts on I don't think you should pay for grad school, especially as an international student, and this is why this is kind of my opinion on this issue. So let's just get started. So the first reason you shouldn't pay for grad school is there are so many programs that are free. There are so many, even top programs like for masters, MBA, PhD that are actually free, that once you gain admission into those programs, you are fully funded, you're provided 100% tuition, free paid, and also some stipend for your living expenses. So like, if you are paying for grad school, I feel like you're leaving some value on the table. And the mistake many people make is that they just focus on those big external funding, and they don't focus on the schools that they're applying to. And what you don't know is many programs, many schools, their scholarships or their funding are provided by their donors, and there's a whole lot more. Like, for many of the external scholarships and external funding opportunities, first, they are very competitive, and second, usually they pick one person per school or per program or 5 people, but the school usually has a whole lot more funding from their donors. So like, if you are not taking advantage of those opportunities, I feel like you're leaving a lot of value on the table that you could be just taking advantage of instead of paying. So reason number one is there's a whole lot of programs, top, mid-tier, smaller programs that are fully funded. You just need to focus on those programs instead of just applying to schools and then thinking about funding later. Try to apply to those schools that will likely fund you. So that's one reason I think you shouldn't pay for grad school. So reason number 2 is that there's a whole lot of funding for PhD programs. Wait, I know that PhD is a whole lot of commitment, like 5 years, 6 years, doing research. I know it's a whole lot, but like, don't rule out PhD yet. There's a lot of funding, a lot more funding for many schools for PhD programs than for master's programs. So if you're still trying to figure out if a PhD is the right path for you or a master's program, maybe you should truly consider applying to some PhD programs, because they are well funded by some organizations, some government, some institutions, by the school as well. So research is very important, and many of these PhD programs are fully funded in the US, in Canada as well. So one thing you want to consider is maybe you should actually apply to those PhD programs. And if you start that program, of course, depending on your interest and all, if you start that program and you figure out that you don't like this path anymore, it's not the right path for you and things like that, for many schools, for a couple of countries, you can actually get a master's after the first 2 years of your PhD. So that's something you also want to check with the school, or ask people that have gone through this whole application process and have gone through like the whole PhD process. Do you get a master's after the first 2 years? In case I find out or I discover that I can no longer make this 5-year commitment or 6-year commitment, or I want to try something else, or this is not the right path for me, or now I'm tired of research, just think about it. Of course, PhD programs are pretty competitive, so make sure you meet the requirements. But if you are at a point in your life, your career, where you're not sure, I think PhD is worth considering, and you should definitely consider a PhD. And if it's not something you find interesting, you can actually maybe leave the program and get a master's at the end of the 2 years program. But this is something that I'll check and find out from people that have gone through this process, that have gone through, that specific program, that specific school. So this is one other reason that I think, no, don't pay for grad school. If you can get PhD funding, fully funded, 100%, they're paying you even a stipend, and you are interested in research in that in that area, or you're interested in doing a PhD but you're unsure, maybe you want to first try a master's, I would rather seriously consider a PhD. So that's one other reason you shouldn't pay for grad school. So the third reason is loans could actually be detrimental to your career. So I'm making the assumption here that you don't have these funds like sitting somewhere in your account, or you don't have a sponsor like a family member or someone willing to sponsor you through grad school, and you're thinking of taking a loan. And I've done a lot of videos about loans, application, and all of that. So yes, I know about it, but I'm saying you shouldn't pay for grad school and have to by taking a loan. And this is why loans could actually be detrimental to your career. If and this depends a lot on your interest, what you want to do immediately post graduation, or like 3-5 years after graduation. If you take huge loans, what you find out is you may figure out that at the end of the day you're pursuing more like high paying jobs instead of things that you're actually very interested in. So you came to grad school with a goal, I want to maybe work in this industry, and maybe that industry doesn't pay really highly, or like they don't offer really competitive compensation. What you discover, or you might find yourself actually leaning towards those industries that pay so well, at least for the first few years of your career, so you can pay your loans, when really that is not something you're super interested in. So at the end of the day, loans could be very detrimental to your career. They could like make you switch to something you are not really interested in. So this is another reason I think you should absolutely explore every option available to you to not have to take loans. I know loans are an option, but like I don't think you should take loans, especially in these times, and we'll talk about that in another video. But I don't think you should take loans, because at the end of like once you graduate, it's actually, and when you're job hunting, especially as an international student, at some point you are not even thinking, am I interested in this industry or not? You're just thinking, when do I pay these loans? And then you begin to think, if I get this job versus that job, what are the currency exposure that I'll have? So it's just like, it gets more complicated than you thought about when you were applying for that loan. So I would say, like, I don't think you should pay for grad school. I don't think you should take a loan for grad school, especially in these times. And just explore every option available to you, because those loans could end up being super detrimental to your career. So another reason I don't think you should pay for grad school is your grad school degree may not contribute a whole lot to your career success. It might actually not have a lot of impact. Think about, for a second, those jobs or whatever it is you want to do post graduation. Think about, let's use the example of you trying to like switch industries or get a specific kind of job, and you think this degree will provide that great opportunity for you to be able to get a foot in the door for these jobs. So think about those jobs, think about the job descriptions that you see, and think about those job adverts for a second. There are many job openings that say we need this degree or in a related field. We need a master's in computer science or a related field. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm challenging you basically to think about, do I really need to do this degree, or I could get away with a similar degree, with a related degree? Do I really need to do this MBA or a master's in management to work for the same thing? Like, really sit down and think about what you can, if this degree is more expensive typically than this other degree, but I would achieve the same result or the same outcome with either of those two degrees, then I'm saying maybe you should actually think about those degrees that are more affordable, basically. Instead of doing an MBA, maybe what you are trying to do post graduation, you can actually get away with a master's in management, or you can achieve the same goals with a master's in management, or some other masters in business or finance or things like that, then why pay a whole lot for this other degree? You know, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I really think instead of paying for grad school, if you can get a similar program or a related program compared to the one you're exploring now, and get that one fully funded, then why should you pay for grad school? You know what I'm saying? Like, why should you pay for grad school if that option is available? You know, maybe you should spend some time checking those job descriptions for those industries, for those roles you're interested in post-graduation, and see, what do they mean by related field? Will this, you know, master's qualify? Will this kind of degree qualify if I don't get this specific one mentioned? Maybe for some jobs, they're just trying to tick a box that you meet those minimum requirements or minimum skills that they expect someone that has done that master's to have. Then maybe you can get away with another degree, and maybe you should do it. So but of course, you still want to check. For some industries, they don't care. They just want you to have an MBA for you to have this role, or they just want you to have a specific PhD in maybe computer science for you to have this job, for you to get this job, or for you to even like qualify and get interviews. So maybe you should actually check those things. You should actually spend some time to check those things and apply to a broader range of programs, some that are, you know, typically pricier, and some that don't require a lot of investment from you and that you can get fully funded. So that's something you want to check. And I know some of you may not agree with this, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the degree you did or what you're planning to do. Do you think there are other kind of degrees or other related field that you could actually apply to? Let me know in the comment section if you think you could have done a different master's than the one you did, or if you think that what you're considering, there might be other master's programs that are related to that, and both of them would help you achieve the same outcome. So let me know in the comment section. So another reason I don't think you should pay for grad school is grad school is a huge, you know, time commitment. Even if it's a 1-year program, if you are like me and you were already working before you went back to grad school, like you started working after your first degree, undergrad, college, and you know, you worked for some years before going to grad school, it means you're like, there's an opportunity cost. Basically, you're leaving your job, you're not earning any income, and I feel like if you're not paying for grad school, it's more justifiable. That 2-year income loss, it's easier for you to justify going to grad school and, you know, putting your career on hold for those 2 years, or for those 5 years or 6 years, depending on the kind of degree you're going for. I think it's easier to sort of justify it if you are not paying for grad school. So like, that decision is a lot easier to make if you like putting your career on hold, not making any money and all of that. If you are getting your grad school degree from a good program and, you know, you're getting it for free, like you're not paying anything, even though you're paying in terms of your time, it's easier to justify that decision to go to grad school, and it's easier for you to like take on more risk, like risk of you not getting back to where you want in your career after grad school. But all those risks are just like crazy if you are also like making a huge financial investment and you're taking up loans and all of those things. So that's one other reason I don't think you should pay for grad school, because not paying just makes the decision easier for you and makes the risk seem more acceptable, of course, depending on your risk tolerance. So I know I've said a lot of things in this video, but let me know in the comment section which of these points you agree with, which ones you don't agree with, and really just generally your thoughts on some of these issues, especially with the whole situation right now in the world. Let me know. Also, as I said at the beginning, I found a really good resource that has 500 plus masters, MBA, PhD programs that are fully funded. So I'll drop a link in the description box, so click that link. I think it's a great resource for you to start with. You know, why should we pay if we can, you know, apply to these schools that are really fully funded? So click that link. And also, as always, the school's website is the best place to find up-to-date information. So make sure you also confirm some of those details you find on that list on the school's website. So if you like today's video and you want me to do more videos like this, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed, and also click the notification bell so you know when I drop videos like this, okay? And thanks a lot for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in my next video.